So I've had Google's fresh new Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro flagship phones nestled snugly in my trousers for about a week now, and in that time I've been wandering around snapping everything in sight to test out those cameras. Cats, coffee, beer, disinterested daughters, more beer, disinterested daughters and beer at the same time. You know, all the usual stuff. So, are the Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro cameras actually any good? What about the new features that Google has chucked in there? And what's the difference between these two? Should you spunk up an extra 300 quid for that Pro? Here's my full Pixel 8 and Pixel 8 Pro camera review, and for more on the latest and greatest tech, please do poke subscribe and ding that notifications bell. Cheers! So first up, a quick recap of the actual camera hardware for anyone who needs it. So on the surface level, the Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro seem to serve up similar optics to last year's Pixel 7 series. Both phones rock a 50 meg Octa PD primary sensor with optical image stabilization as well as an ultra-wide shooter, while the Pixel 8 Pro also boasts a 48 meg telephoto camera with 5 times optical zoom. However, that primary camera sensor now has a wider aperture on both the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro for improved low-light photography. And that Pro model now uses multi-zone laser detect autofocus compared with the regular Pixel 8, which sticks with single-zone LDAF. In theory, this should mean that the Pixel 8 Pro can focus more quickly on anything in frame regardless of the position. I gotta say though, personally in my real life tests, and I have yet to see a real difference between the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro when it comes to that focus, because the Pixel 8 is still super nippy. I've not had any out of focus blurry shots even when my subject's been darting around like an absolute mentalist. And also, while the Pixel 8 uses the same 12 meg ultra wide angle sensor as last year's Pixel 7s, the Pixel 8 Pro upgrades this to a fresh 48 meg quad PD sensor, again with a larger aperture. Now the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro use basically the same camera app. It's a very similar UI, just with a few subtle little differences here and there. That app is very easy to get on with. You've got access to all of the same features, including good old portrait mode, you've got a long exposure mode, bit of action pan. You've also got night sight if you're shooting in the evenings. That just shoots a long exposure shot. Got to keep your camera as still as possible. And you can jump on into the camera settings by swiping up on the screen like so. This gives you access to a number of features, including good old top shot, which I highly recommend keeping on if you've got kids or cats or whatever. More on that in a bit. And here on the Pro, you'll see that there's also an additional tab. This allows you to quickly swap between the standard 12 megapixel resolution photos and high resolution 50 meg photos. You can also capture raw images if you want to edit on the fly, and you've also got a manual lens selection option. And this just replaces the zoom controls with straight up toggles, so you can switch instantly between the ultra wide, the wide and the telephoto shooters. And if you want proper manual control over your photography, well, the Pixel 8 Pro is again the way to go. You can tinker with the brightness, shadows and white balance here on the regular Pixel 8. It's got a bit more control here on the Pixel 8 Pro, shutter speed and focus. And so anyway, that's the camera hardware and the camera app, but what about the actual photo quality? Well, I've taken literally hundreds of photos with the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro this past week, and I can tell you certainly with that primary wide angle sensor, there's next to no difference in the majority of my test shots. We're talking crisp detail even when the photos are blown up onto a big screen, as well as colours that look impressively close to what you'll see with the naked eye. You get some slight saturation when the light is strong, but otherwise that contrast is again faithful to your vision. I did see some very occasional artifacting in darker regions with these pixels. When you move indoors, thankfully there's minimal grain here. My test shots were still packed with finer detail, and those colours once again nice and accurate, they don't suffer in lower light. And as I demonstrated before, on the Pro you can activate that high-res 50 megapixel mode to capture a higher resolution photo, although this doesn't have as much of an impact as you might imagine on those detail levels. Now, I found that these high resolution modes on smartphones are most useful when you're testing out a camera that doesn't have a telephoto zoom, so you can't get closer to the action with some proper optical zoom, but you do have a really large primary sensor, for instance a 200 megapixel effort. And this just allows you to take a really high resolution photo and then crop in later without losing too much detail. But here on the Pixel 8 Pro, you do have an excellent telephoto shooter, spoiler alert for later, so you don't need to take a high resolution image and then crop in after the fact. So to be honest, I'm not really sure why you would need to use that high resolution mode. Certainly personally, I never found a particular use for it. I gotta say though, I did find that portrait shots were superior when snapped on the Pixel 8 Pro. This can produce some glorious bokeh style action. versus a still decent but weaker blurry background on the regular Pixel 8. Although I did find that some of my Pro portraits looked a bit soft, like the focus wasn't quite on point at times. And as I mentioned before, definitely keep that top shot feature on, or at the very least on auto mode, so if you're shooting cats, kids, whatever, things that just won't keep still or look at the camera when you actually want them to. So then if you're viewing your pics, you don't really like the final result, you can choose pick a better shot. You can then scrub backwards and forwards in that timeline and find an image that's slightly less cack. Now, night photography is just as dependable as usual on both of these Google Pixel blowers. Detail levels do dip naturally, but you'll still make out elements that are missing in photos from other premium handsets. Although light sources do quite often flare up like you'll get on iPhones. Yet you will get some blur if anything is moving in frame, but that's pretty much unavoidable. Switch to that ultra-wide shooter and the Pixel 8 holds up pretty well considering it is older, less capable hardware. But you will notice that the Pro can shoot slightly brighter looking ultra-wide pics and keep those tones more consistent. The regular phone snaps can appear a wee bit murkier at times, and of course if you want to get a bit closer to the action, the Pro is again the superior Pixel. The regular Pixel 8 maxes out at 8x zoom, and this is all digitally done, while its mighty sibling can keep things crisp well beyond that point. With the Pixel 8 Pro, things don't get a wee bit hazy until you're between 20 and 30x zoom, so if you like to shoot lots of touristy snaps or get natural looking pics of your pets, kids and other animals at play, then it is the one to go for. And do not stress yourself if you thought you captured the perfect photo and then when you view it back it's actually complete cack, because Google's excellent editing tools stuck away in the Photos app can rescue even a pretty pants pic. In Google Photos, just go to Edit, and down here in the bottom left corner you'll see the fresh new Magic Editor tool. Let's give that a wee tap. And in this you can do all sorts, including magically moving any people or objects. Just highlight them and then long press, and as you can see you can drag them about the place. So for instance you could reposition your family members so it looks like they're standing together, like they actually enjoy each other's company. And once that's processed, you'll notice you've got a few different images to choose from, just with slightly different processing. So for instance in this first one, this poor lady here looks like she's been separated from her legs, not ideal. But in the second one, much better. So let's go with that one. Tap the tick. And then as usual you can also erase other people that you don't want in the shot. Just tap the erase button this time. And again you'll have a few different options that you can flick between. Definitely looking good to me. And another fantastic tool inside of the editing section, if you head to the tools tab you'll find the new best take option in there. This is really handy when snapping a group shot like this, because guaranteed at least one person in every pic will be looking away, distracted by something, or generally engaged in twattery. So what you need to do is just select the person in the shot who isn't looking at camera, and then as you can see, if you snapped lots of different pics, it will be able to pull out their faces from each of the different shots. So you can choose the one that's the smiliest and also actually looking at the camera. Let's do the same right here. I know unfortunately we don't have one with actually looking at the camera, but never mind. And when you got the best possible combination, just hit done. And there you go, that's about as good as it gets. Now when you swap to the video mode, both the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro can shoot up to 4K Ultra HD resolution footage at 24, 30 or 60 frames per second with optional HDR. And I was very happy indeed with the Ultra HD video clips that I shot with both the Pixel 8 and the 8 Pro. There's again negligible difference between the pair when you are using the primary sensor, with excellent stabilization to match Samsung and Apple when you are moving and shooting simultaneously. It's just creamy smooth. Now once again there are several differences between the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro model. First up, the Pro has that telephoto lens which you can use to get a much sharper view when you zoom in while recording. The transition as the telephoto lens kicks in is quite jarring unfortunately, but it does make the final footage look a lot sharper. And both Pixels can also make good use of the ultra-wide lens when you're capturing footage. You do also have that sort of live portrait mode blur feature as well for video if you want to get a bokeh style bit of action in the background. It can be a bit shonky however, so use with caution. And the Pixels also have a speech enhancement feature which can slightly muffle any background sound that isn't just you or your buddies chatting. But alternatively, these latest flagships also serve up the slightly clunkily titled Audio Magic Eraser tool. Once again, just dive on into Edit, and then budge along to the Audio tab, and you'll see the fresh new Audio Eraser feature. And as you can see, this can just help to reduce all of that guff in the background. Just tap each of the little sound icons and then budge this wee slider down, and that will reduce the noise in this case and any background music that's going on. But if you are doing any commentary, you'll want to leave the speech on full. And I've got to say, this is some real audio wizardry. Here's some comparison clips before and after processing so you can see what difference it makes.
So recording some video in London Bridge. Lots of background clamour and stuff going on. Okay, so recording some video in London Bridge. Lots of background clamour and stuff going on.
Now both the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro are pretty bloody good when it comes to shooting low light video as well, but that should be getting further upgraded here on the Pixel 8 Pro with one of Google's updates, which should be due before the end of 2023, which adds in a fresh new night mode. This video boost tool can apparently improve the brightness, the sharpness, etc. of your footage, but again, I'll be testing that out when it actually drops here on the Pixel 8 Pro. And then last up, around the front end of the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro, you've got a 10.5 megapixel selfie shooter. But you do actually get autofocus here on the Pixel 8 Pro, whereas it's fixed focus on the regular Pixel 8. Now, I found that the Pro does capture slightly more detail when the lighting is respectable, so you'll see every pore, every sag, every bag. Whether that's a good thing or not, I'll let you decide. It is a more even playing field in lower light, however, when those detail levels drop on both Pixel 8 blowers. And yeah, you can shoot up to 4K resolution footage on the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro using the front-facing camera as well. And again, not much difference between the two. They're both very good at clearly picking up your voice, so great news for video, Skyping, calling, shenanigans stuff. And there you have it, my lovelies. That's what I reckon of the Pixel 8 and the Pixel 8 Pro camera tech and all those excellent editing tools after a full week of testing them out. As you can see, quite a few advantages here on the Pixel 8 Pro compared with the regular Pixel 8. So if you are serious about your photography, especially if you want to get those natural looking shots of kids, cats, etc., the Pro might be one to go for. But the regular Pixel 8 is still excellent across a range of conditions, including that night photography. We won't be getting that night video boost mode though, apparently. So that's what I reckon. Please do let us know what you think down in the comments below. Check out my unboxing and side-by-side comparison to see more on the rest of the Pixel blowers. I've also done you a full tips and tricks guide for more on the software side of things. And of course, stay tuned for my in-depth reviews. So have a good one, everyone. Please do subscribe, ding that notifications bell, Have yourselves a really good rest of the week. See you on the flip side. Love you.